Hello and welcome to Music with Mason. My name is Mason Fall. I'm here joined with the lead singer of the hard rock band Skarlett Roxx. We've got Deuce Mac. How are you doing today, Deuce?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me.
All right. So just to get started, Skarlett Roxx is based in Iowa City, and they recently released their debut album, Charlotte's Web, and they are going to be soon playing in Columbia, Maryland at the M Pre-Party.
Yeah. We're really looking forward to that. We're already kind of just getting ready for that and practicing as much as we can, and even work on new songs here and there. But yeah, Charlotte's Web came out. Man, it's already been a little over a year, but it still seems so fresh because people still keep buying the album, and record stores keep asking us to send them more CDs and more vinyl. But yeah, it's been such a blast over the last year, just promoting this album and being able to play tons of shows around all around the Midwest, and now we're kind of like finally branching out and hitting the East Coast here soon.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's really good to hear that.
Yeah.
So, would you consider yourself the face of the band?
Sorry, what was that?
Would you consider yourself like the face of Skarlett Roxx?
I would like to say yes. However, it's from the beginning. The four of us have always been kind of our own characters, and we're all just so vastly like different in our own ways that I think that's part of the magic about Skarlett Roxx is that everyone kind of it's kind of like from the beginning. The idea was to have like the Beatles on steroids, so everyone has their favorite Beatle, and so I feel like a lot of people, everyone subconsciously kind of has their favorite Skarlett Roxx guy, but I definitely know where you're coming from, though, with that question, because, every show I have the spider on my eye, and kind of the whole theme of Skarlett's Web was the whole spider thing. And I don't want to just outright say I'm the face of the band, but I am what we would call a frontman, yeah, for sure.
All right. So, considering you've been in this band as like part of you guys have been like stuck together for so long, how exactly did the band form?
It was crazy about kind of like the beginnings of this band is my parents had been friends with my bass player's parents, Jack. Our parents went to concerts together in the 80s. So, before we were even thought of as kids, it was kind of like destiny, like our parents were, going to concerts together, and I think that's just kind of how fate worked out. Is eventually the torch got passed, and so I knew Jax growing up, just 8 years old, 9 years old. And so we knew of each other, and eventually, once I got to middle school, I started picking up the guitar, and I had formed my first band, and, we did a couple like open mic things, but, finding people who really want to take it seriously, who really just have the hunger, it's hard to find people like that. And eventually I bumped into Jax, and, we kind of, found out that, we both kind of have that same desire to just conquer the world. And so me and Jax, once, it was me, Jax, a former lead guitar player and a former drummer. And we were just kind of meeting up in this basement every week, sometimes 2 times a week, and just jamming, just making noise. And that was kind of the beginnings of Skarlett Roxx. And it wasn't until, it wasn't until like when COVID hit, we really, started making a ton of progress. And once COVID hit, we had all the time in the world to kind of, hone our craft and get as good as we possibly could. And then once the venues started opening up again, we had been posting on social media, and we already gained a following, even though we hadn't played a single show yet. And everyone wanted to book us. So that first summer back from COVID, I think we had maybe 2 shows off the entire summer, or 2 weekends off, I should say. So, from the beginning, the formation of the band was really me meeting Jax was kind of the spark that started it all.
Yeah, it was a really big grind, you would say, just trying to form the band.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially in Iowa, of all places. It's not like the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles, where you can go see 7 different bands a night and kind of pick who you like the best to be in a band with. You kind of have to, it's really slim pickings here. But it's crazy is when you're looking for people, you can't seem to find anyone. But then once you have a solid lineup and you're going around and playing shows and you're meeting other bands and stuff, and people want to collaborate with you, it's like, damn, I don't have any time to do this stuff anymore. But it's in Iowa especially, it's really hard to find people, and we had a lot of trouble with this. Right before Skarlett's Web came out, kind of finding a new lead guitar player and finding a new drummer. There is not a lot of young kids who look the part and who can play their instrument. And that's something we really struggled with, was finding someone who kind of fit the criteria of all three things: is the look, the ability to play, and being young. And it comes down to whether or not people whose parents grew up in the 80s raised their kids on it. Luckily, my parents raised me on everything rock and roll from the beginning. I mean, I'm named after a Kiss song. So meeting people who can really do it, that was the big kind of grind from the beginning.
Yeah, I totally agree. Speaking of Kiss, I know that a few of your favorite bands, I haven't even heard of this band before, but who is Buck Cherry?
Buck Cherry. Wow. I am the biggest Buck Cherry fan in the world. Buck Cherry, a lot of people know they have a really famous song called Crazy Bitch. And I think that's off their, it's off their 3rd album. It's called 15. And it's called 15 because I believe they wrote and recorded every song on that album in 15 days, which is crazy to me. But Buck Cherry is one of my favorite bands ever, and they're actually the only band who is post grunge, early 2000s that I really love. I know there's a lot of good bands out there that I probably haven't found yet, but Buck Cherry, one of my favorite bands ever.
All right. So you also recently graduated from Iowa City West High School.
Yeah.
Did you play on the baseball team?
I did. I played on the baseball team all the way up until my senior year. My senior year, the band was just blowing up so much, and we had so much booked in the summer. It finally had to pick between the two, and I love the music and playing shows and stuff too much to give that up. So yeah, I played baseball growing up from age I was playing competitive travel baseball from age 8. So it was a big part of my life growing up. I'm still a huge baseball fan, big Dodgers fan.
Right on. So recently you went to an Alice Cooper concert. Yeah,
I've seen Alice. I can't even count anymore how many times I've seen Alice. But yeah, I saw Alice. I'm trying to think of the most recent time I saw him. I saw him, I want to say I saw him in Champaign, Illinois, in July. I think that's the most recent. Maybe I'm forgetting one. But yeah, I've seen Alice quite a bit. Yeah,
Would you say they're another band that really inspired you to get into music?
absolutely, absolutely. One of my heroes that not a lot of people probably know about is Tommy Henriksen. He's actually one of Alice's touring guitarists. And I say that because Jax kind of introduced me to him because Jax, you know, I don't even know how, but he formed a friendship with him. So after Alice Cooper shows, we'll go and hang out with the band, Alice's band after the shows, and just talk to him. And Tommy was really supportive of what we were doing from the very beginning, even before we had played a single show. And he always kind of had the best advice to give us, and even like Ryan Roxy, Glenn Sobel, Nita Strauss, all of them in Alice's band. They're all just super great people and always super supportive of what we were doing and just huge inspirations all around.
Yeah, right on. So, in one of your other interviews that you've done, what was the Back to the Arena show?
The Back to the Arena show, oh man, I can't even remember when I did that. We did like a Zoom call, I think. But it was a really fun interview we did. We talked about a lot of stuff on there. I think it's on YouTube still. If you look up Back to the Arena, and then like Skarlett Roxx, it should probably pop up on YouTube. It might even be on like other podcast sites. I'm not sure.
So, were you a part of the Texas Hippie Coalition concert?
Yeah. So, Texas Hippie Coalition, they came through Iowa City and played at a place called Wildwood back. I'm trying to think of when this was. This would have been sometime last year. I'll just say that because my memory's awful. But they came through town, and a lot of times when these national touring bands come through, the first people people are asking for an opener is us. So we wound up being on the bill for that one. We opened up for them, and it was a good time all around.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten a few bands on this show who really like the Wildwood. It's actually
yeah,
great food and great company.
Yeah, great food, and the staff there and everyone at Wildwood, they're all so accommodating and super gracious, and we've always we've said it a million times in all sorts of interviews and stuff that Wildwood is by far one of our favorite venues to play at ever, just because of how just homey it is and how I don't know what the word I'm searching for, but just it's super accommodating. The people there, just super nice place.
So, I read in a news article from your old school paper.
Yeah.
Is your dad still your band manager?
Yes. So my dad, Jim, he does all the booking and stuff. He does all the booking, and we got our band group chat that he's in there, and I've been really lucky, growing up and throughout my entire life. I've got really lucky to have a dad who's just super supportive of everything I do. And from the beginning, when we were getting ready to play shows and stuff, I remember having a conversation with Jackson saying, we're gonna need someone to be a manager of some sort for us. And I was going to say his dad, because Jax's dad actually sings in a couple of different bands around here. But he sings in a band called Skin Candy. They had a really big cover of the Iowa Fight song a while ago. And so I was like, hey, your dad should do it because he knows the business. And he was like, no, your dad should do it. So my dad, lucky enough, I get to work with my dad on this project of ours, and he does all the booking and emailing and stuff. So if anyone ever reaches out for booking, that's who you're talking to. You're talking to my dad.
So it's a bit of, I don't know if it's a rumor or if it's true or not, but is it true that you smash your guitar at every show?
Yeah, every show there's a guitar that meets its end. And I've had some people kind of every single show, people constantly ask me for that guitar. They're like, please, please, please. And I hold on to them. I hold on to them, and every once in a while, I'll find someone really special to send it to or give it to. There was a kid once who he's just the biggest fan of Scarlett Roxx, and I'm lucky enough to call him a friend now. And I talk to him regularly, and for one of his birthdays, I sent him one of those guitars because not a lot of people get them, and it just made his world. So yeah, a guitar meets its end, and I usually go to pawn shops around the area and just find the shittiest guitars you can possibly find. You know, the types of guitars where I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy to have to learn how to play on those guitars. So I have a lot of people like, oh, you're like, you're destroying equipment some kid could have. A kid isn't going to be able to learn how to play on a guitar like this. These guitars are $40 pawn shop guitars. They're not, instruments that are worth saving. So,
Right.
yeah.
So how many guitars do you think you've gone through?
Usually I can find a way to piece them back together after every show. That's part of the reason why I keep them and I don't give them away every time. It just saves a little bit of money. But I think we've gone through I want to say we've gone through at least 6 or 7.
Oof.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to count.
And
But it's a fair number. Yeah,
was this based off of a Kiss tradition?
absolutely, absolutely. My biggest inspiration and my biggest hero in the world is Paul Stanley, and kind of everything that I do on stage, the way I dress, and even with me painting the spider on my eye, it's kind of a nod to Paul Stanley's star on his eye, and it's everything. Like my mannerisms on stage are inspired by him. I play Ibanez Iceman, Paul Stanley models on stage now. That's kind of my go-to. I haven't really switched that up in a while. I just love his guitar so much that it's just perfect for what I do. But every Kiss show at the end, Paul is smashing a guitar, and growing up watching Kiss concerts over and over, that just seemed like the right thing to do.
Do you think, not do you think, but have you gotten any complaints of the venue owners of just smashing a guitar on stage without asking permission, or have you asked permission?
I've found this is gonna sound really shitty, but I've found, especially in this business, is it's always easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. But actually, believe it or not, we have not had a single complaint about that. It's I think it's mainly because everyone here and every place that we have played at, everyone kind of believes in us, and I think that we're lucky enough to kind of build an atmosphere around us every time we play, where it's such a positive energy. It's kind of hard for people to get mad at that. So the only time I can think of where someone complained, it's mainly people like, oh, like, that some little kid, could learn how to play on that. But like I said, like, these are the worst guitars you could possibly learn how to play on. So yeah, no, we actually haven't gotten really any complaints from venues at all, which even I'm kind of shocked by. But yeah.
I mean, I guess they're used to it. If they have seen your previous concerts, they must have gotten used to you smashing a guitar at every one.
Right, right. Usually these venues when they book bands, they do at least a little bit of research, just so they're not hiring some band that's gonna get up there and just start spewing awful stuff. Usually they do a little bit of research, and I think they definitely seen it, and I'm sure I'm not the first person who's done it too at a lot of these places because Kiss has been around, and Kiss aren't the only people who have smashed guitars. I've seen it live too. I was at a show in Cedar Rapids at some dive bar, and just some guy brings out a cheap guitar and just smashed it apart. And I was like, yeah, I'm not the only one.
Right on. So, if you could have one last meal before you pass away, what would it be?
Ooh, yikes. I right now, especially, I love sushi. I'm a big sushi guy, so I would probably have to get some huge like sushi buffet type deal going. Tons of sushi rolls and that like tuna and salmon. That's probably what my pick would be.
Okay. Anything to drink?
Um, right now I would love some like chocolate milk. But I would with that I usually just go with just some water. I'm a big water guy, especially with singing and stuff. You just gotta keep hydrating and hydrating. But yeah, no, probably water. Alcoholic, I'm a big Captain Morgan guy, but
Okay.
I feel like that doesn't really go well with fish,
Right.
right?
So, you've played at so many different venues. What would you say your favorite place to play at is so far?
Oh man, I said earlier we really love Wildwood. Wildwood's a great place. Another place we've played at is a place in East Moline called the Rust Belt. And they kind of turned this old, I think it was like an automobile factory or is some sort of line factory. So it's a super big building, just that it's super long, super large building. And they turned it into like a music venue. And they have a really nice stage there, big stage, and usually huge crowds there too, because it's a great music venue. That's one of my personal favorites. Recently, this the last December, we opened for a tribute band called Hairball, and we did that at the Extreme Arena in Coralville. It's actually what was crazy about it is it was the same arena that I graduated from high school in. I got my diploma in that arena. And then months later, we came back and we played that place and rocked it. So that by far is one of my favorite memories yet. Being in this band is playing that arena. So that by far biggest arena and the most fun. The bigger it gets, the more fun it is. So
All right. So, we're down to the final two questions here, unfortunately.
all right.
So, what is the future of Skarlett Roxx right now? Are we going to be seeing more concert dates, another album released? Like, what are we seeing?
So right now, we are in the process of getting everything booked up for 2024. So I think we're going to be announcing a show at Wildwood here in March. I think that's going to be announced so tomorrow. Actually, we're going to be playing with Nita Strauss from Alice Cooper. Um, so more and more shows are going to be announced here come spring, and Scarlet Rocks is going to be out and hitting the road here soon too. Heading out to Maryland for that pre-party. So definitely a lot of shows. As far as new music, we're always writing stuff, but we're really picky about what makes its way through. We really take pride in our music, and we really want to put out the best product possible because the biggest I I've said it before, but the biggest fan of Scarlett Roxx is myself. I love this band more than anything, and so I really don't want to put out a product that I'm not proud of. So we're always writing songs. We've always talked about doing an EP, just like a 4-song thing, and I think that's a great idea for 2024. We'll see if it happens. But I think that's a great idea for 2024 because, I still don't even know what we'd want to do next for, Scarlett Roxx 2 for that second sophomore album. But I'm always writing songs. I know the Ashton, our drummer, he's actually a phenomenal guitar player. He's always writing songs. Our lead guitar, Danny, he's constantly sending me awesome lyrics and stuff. Our song Jezebel, it actually started off as him sending me lyrics for a song, and then I was like, oh, these are great lyrics, and then I put the music to it, and it was nothing like he imagined, but it gave us an amazing product we never would have thought of. So we're always writing stuff. As far as releases, nothing really planned yet, but the door's always open. So
nice. All right, so for our final question, I have asked every single artist and band that I've had on this show, what would you tell the young and aspiring artists who really need courage and someone to guide them on stage and help them perform?
Oh, man. That is by far one of the best questions I've ever been asked, because I was once there and I still am there, as far as being like a young artist. I think the biggest thing that helped me individually was putting myself around people who were better than me. I always wanted to be the worst person in the band. I always wanted to be the least talented, because when you put yourself around people who are better than you get better. It's just a natural thing that happens. You want to be better so you can keep up with them. And that's what I did with Skarlett Roxx. I put myself, I joined Jax and put myself around musicians who were better at their instruments than me, and naturally I got better and better, and that really helped me out. Another thing is just believe in yourself. Growing up, I wasn't always the most confident person, and I was constantly trying to get people to like me. And as soon as we started doing this band, and being the Spider and Skarlett Roxx, it's just been this phenomenal feeling of just release, of finally being able to express myself and be myself, because even if you mess up on stage, people still love it, and almost everyone I've talked to have been either positive about what we're doing and super supportive, and barely ever, like, one person out of 1,000 will, say, oh, this is, not great. You guys need to do this. But, the positivity overwhelms any sort of, negativity. And it's just the best feeling in the world. And if you are just someone who's starting out in their bedroom and just picking up a guitar for the first time, just stick with it, because you never know what it could turn into. I never would have thought we would have been playing in an arena of all places, a month ago or 2 months ago. So, just stick with it, believe in yourself, and things will work out.
Yeah, I totally agree 100% on that. So we have finally reached the end of our interview. Where can we find you on social media?
You can find Skarlett Roxx at Skarlett Roxx. That's SkarlettRoxx, and that's on Instagram, Twitter, I guess now X, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, all streaming platforms our music's on. And you can find each individual member kind of tagged on stuff on our Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, that's our handle for everything, and you can find all of our stuff at Skarlett Roxx.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Deuce, for being on my show today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I had a blast talking to you, man.
Yeah, we'll have all of your awesome music linked in the description so everyone listening can check you out. But yeah, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, we'll see you later.
Catch you later, man.
And that will do it for today's episode of Music with Mason. If you enjoyed this, please consider sharing this video and my channel to all of your friends and family. And I just want to say Skarlett Roxx is an amazing band. They're already branching out to so many countries, and they're already going to be playing in Maryland, which I don't even know if they've played there for the first time, but this is the first time I've ever heard a Iowan band playing in New England. So hats off to them. If you really like this interview, please consider subscribing and being notified of when my interviews are posted and when you can go ahead and check out my other awesome videos coming out. 100 subscriber special still in the works. We are going to be starting film tomorrow. Hopefully it goes out really well. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and your support, and we will talk to you later.